Hello and welcome to today's webinar on controlling your cloud spend. My name is Shuja Abedin and I am working as Tech Lead Software Systems and DevOps at Xgrid. I bring over 13 years of experience with more than 7 years working as a cloud architect and consultant. Joining me today is Saman Batool. She is an expert in cloud computing and architecture with 6+ years of experience in designing smart cloud solutions. We are excited to guide you through a demo-driven approach to cloud cost management. So let's take a look at today's agenda. During this session, we'll be talking about why managing cloud costs is critical for any startup or organization and what are the problems associated with it. We will be discussing about best practices of the cloud cost and a comparison of its various management tools. We will also be demonstrating Xgrid cloud cost control strategies and workflows. And to give you some extra motivation, we will also be sharing some success stories as well. There will be opportunity for you to ask questions, so make sure you type them in the chat and we will be answering them in the end. So let's make most of this time together and let's get started. When we say managing cloud cost is critical, it is always driven by facts. Facts like adoption of cloud computing. According to a recent study, more than 80% of organizations have adopted cloud computing and continue to migrate their workloads to the cloud. This resulted in cloud spending growth, and it is expected that global cloud computing market will grow with compound annual growth rate of 15.7% by end of 2027. So it's really important for organizations to start implementing cloud cost management strategies today. Research has shown that organizations can save between 15 to 50% or more on cloud costs by just implementing effective cost management strategies and tools. And also, it's really important to understand the implications of uncontrolled cloud cost. A case study has found that up to 30% of cloud spend is wasted on idle or underutilized resources. So don't let cloud waste cloud your vision. Take control of your cloud spend and make sure you make most of your every dollar you spend on the cloud. Before moving on to the best practices of controlling cloud costs, let's understand some of the challenges associated with the cloud cost management. Firstly, the dynamic nature of cloud environment can make it difficult to accurately predict and control cost, leading to unexpected bills and cost overruns as well. Never let cloud costs catch you off guard. Understand the dynamic nature of cloud by implementing the right set of instruments and tools. Secondly, the complexity of cloud billing and the lack of visibility can also pose a challenge. Cloud billing has always been difficult to understand, which is why cloud providers are investing in simplifying as much as possible and creating more and more visibility around it. But effective cost management always comes at a cost, and we need to make sure we implement the right cost management strategies. These strategies can simplify your cloud journey and help you unravel the mystery of the cloud billing and find hidden savings as well. Lastly, when organizations step into the world of multi-cloud and hybrid cloud, either be it between different cloud providers or a combination of on-prem resources, it becomes challenging to manage cloud costs across multiple environments due to the lack of visibility. Implementing a comprehensive cloud cost management strategy is crucial in this case. So, how do we address all these problems? We need to start with attributing the cloud spend by implementing cost allocation tags and generating reports. This report can provide a clear and detailed attribution of cloud cost to specific projects, departments, or applications, enabling organizations to understand the source of cloud spend and make informed decisions on cost optimization and management. Also, it enables organizations to identify and address areas of cost weight. Then we move on to contextualize our application. It involves understanding factors such as resource utilization, peak usage times, geographic location of your users, etc. So, contextualization your application can help in implementing cost control strategies like 1. Automatically shutting down resources when they are not being actively utilized. 2. Right sizing of resources, which means evaluating the right utilization capacity of applications and avoiding over provisioning of resources, whether it be vertically or horizontally. And by implementing usage-based pricing, organizations will only pay for the resources they actually use. Resources spin up, perform the job, and destroy in real time. 3. Making most of reservation and discounts by committing to long-term usage and getting a higher discount rate. Once we establish our strategies of cost control, it's necessary to automate it through use of scripts and tools that can help organization identify and eliminate waste of real time, reducing cost and ensuring that resources are being used efficiently. Last but not least, doing regular audits and observability of the cloud resources. This is basically a process of reviewing and monitoring use of cloud resources and associated costs to ensure compliance with organization policies and cost optimization strategies. There are tools which are widely used to support implementation of these strategies. Let's check them out in the next slide. We have compared few industry tools on the basis of few key functionalities like whether they can provide cost visualization and optimization recommendation. Are they able to manage the resources like the stopping them, or performing horizontal vertical scaling? Also, it's important to note whether they are providing any alerting reporting along with multi-cloud support. As you can see in this table, it's a mix of yeses and nos, and not all tools are able to provide a full package when it comes to implementing the best practices and strategies of cost control management. This actually inspired us to utilize our cloud knowledge and help organizations by providing implementation services to incorporate all strategies and best practices we have accumulated over the year, and creating the best workflow of implementing cost control. Okay, so now it's time to hand the rein over to Saman. Saman, I know you have some exciting cloud cost control workflows and demo to share. I'm looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Over to you.
Thank you, Shuja, for such an insightful summary and highlighting the key strategies of controlling the cloud cost. So let me introduce how Xgrid is building cloud cost control workflow to overcome all the challenges you mentioned. It is a package service offering for visualization of resources hosted on the cloud using the open source tools like Cloud Custodian, Prometheus, Grafana, etc. It provides one platform to track all your cloud resources, be it like cloud, multi-cloud, or hybrid infrastructure. It can track GCP, Azure, or AWS resources on a single UI. It enforces tagging compliance that plays a vital role in determining the resource utility cost and many other aspects as well. It provides schedule monitoring and alerting workflows that help to track resource utilization and take action immediately. And it also provides cost optimization and recommendation workflow without exposing your private information. Further ado, let's dive right into workflows. Setting up XCC in an AWS account is a simple process. Before you start, make sure you have access to an IAM role with the necessary permissions. Next, deploy the XCC Terraform module in your AWS account. Then set up Cloud Custodian on an EC2 instance and S3 bucket for storing the Cloud Custodian metadata. Then you will create XCC backend lambdas for the visualization workflow and the services for the monitoring and alerting workflow. And finally, you create XCC dashboard in Grafana to visualize your XCC workflows. Now let's see how to create a visualization workflow for Cloud Custodian policies in AWS account. This workflow will trigger an XCC lambda to perform attribution, which involve linking resources to specific IAM role and users, then collecting cost metrics of those resources and grouping cost by IAM role and user. This information is displayed on an XCC dashboard for easier understanding and visualization. You will be able to better understand these workflows in the demo. Here comes XCC continuous monitoring and alerting workflow, where use cases are divided into two parts: Cloud Custodian managed and XCC managed policy. CC managed policies are specific to AWS managed metrics of the resources. For example, unused resources, missing tag resources, CPU utilization of resources, and many other as well. While in XCC policies that are built by performing attribution on Cloud Custodian policies metadata, here we are taking care of cost metrics at priority. For example, IAM user allocated cost exceeds any threshold value, and in the end, stakeholder will be notified on policy breach. Both XCC and CC policies are continuous schedule-based monitoring jobs, like we are running these policies daily at once. The most important part is tagging compliance workflow, because tagging plays a vital role in XCC workflows. So in this workflow, we are manually enforcing the tagging compliance by executing Cloud Custodian policies based on services specific event, and notify stakeholder with a list of flagged resources. For example, if environment or maybe owner tag is missing on an EC2 server, stakeholder will be notified with a list of those EC2 instances where mentioned tags are missing. And another example is it apply owner tag on all newly created EC2 instances. XCC recommendation workflow is introduced to optimize resource utilization and contextualizing the application on cloud. This can include factors such as security, scalability, cost, and compliance requirement. Here we focus on cost as priority and implement cloud custodian policies considering tagging as a pre-requirement, and notify stakeholder with a list of impacted resources. For example, stop EC2 instances in off hours to control cost of resources, and other use cases is to stop resources of dev environment on weekend. And these use cases will be implemented through cloud custodian policies based on off hour, on hour, and environment tags. Now that you have set up XCC on your AWS account, it's time to start using it for visualization. So on the home page, you will see the top 5 most expensive servers in each AWS region that allowing you to take action immediately on the cost optimization of that service. When you move on to the IAM role workflow, you will get the list of IAM role in your AWS account, and by selecting a specific IAM role, like this, selecting this specific role, you can see the resources associated with it as well as the cumulative cost of those resources over the last 14 days. And if you want to deep dive, you can see the cost history of specific resource for the last 14 days. The IAM user workflow works similarly. You will see the list of all IAM user in your AWS account, and by selecting a specific IAM user in a specific region, you will see the list of all the resources that have used along with the total cost, and you can also see the cost history of the specific resource over the last 14 days. Here is an example of cost optimization recommendation workflow to stop resources of dev environment on mention of our tag. Here we are running cloud custodian policy that filter EC2 instances based on of our tag, perform action on impacted instances, and notify stakeholder via email. And thank you, Shuja, for giving me time to demonstrate the work we are doing around cloud cost control. Over to you. Please tell us more about cloud cost management success stories.
Thank you, Saman, for sharing a detailed demo along with workflows that Xgrid is using to control the cost over the cloud. So let's now talk about some success stories where companies were successful in saving the cloud cost and by adopting strategies and workflows as discussed in this webinar. One that we worked on is a story of a B2C startup, a unicorn in the making, which was facing same challenges with controlling their cloud spend. They were mainly struggling with identifying the reason and the microservices behind the compute cost. They did not have any proper tagging policy in place, which is why they were not getting alerted with the exponential growth of the infrastructure cost, specifically with the compute resources. We helped them in identifying the running hours and created a usage report of their microservice workload as well. We started by implementing tagging policy and attributing the cloud resources based on the cost allocation tags. With that information, the startup was able to make the informed business decision. We also helped them in contextualizing the application and implementing better capacity planning and further fine-tune their infrastructure spend scaling policies as well. Last but not least, we helped them in making it a continuous process and implementing observability along with automated cost-resistant methodologies like scripts and open source tools. They ultimately ended up saving 35% of their cloud spend and on their overall cloud infrastructure bill. And for some extra motivation, sharing success stories of cloud cost management that are already public news, and companies have been vocal about it on multiple platforms and blogs. They use the same strategies as mentioned above by utilizing multiple tools to achieve them. However, this is very exciting for us. Xgrid is helping in streamlining these workflows under a single service offering called XCQ, also known as Xgrid Cloud Cost Control. I would like to conclude the webinar with highlighting the importance of reducing waste and increasing efficiency in the cloud costs, which can free up budget for other strategic initiatives. Also, effective cloud cost management can result in reducing unnecessary spending and improving overall cost visibility. The long-term benefit of cloud cost management are massive, including increased business agility and ability to respond to changing market conditions. Also, right tool selection for organization-specific need can help organization make better use of their cloud investment and achieve their strategic goals. Lastly, XCCube is there to help organizations and companies of any size to start saving their costs today and forecast a better future. So we are already short on time, but I would love to take some questions. Let me pick out some from the chat. Chris asked, what value does XCCube add since there are already many other tools doing the same? Yeah, great question, Chris. This is always the first question any company representative asks, since everyone is confused which tool to use and how to use it as well. Here, XCCube is helping you in streamlining and understanding the workflows behind it as well, and providing services to implement them in the right way. As we covered in the webinar, the strategies that you implement can either make or break your cloud cost spend. So basically, XCCube is a package service offering provided by Xgrid and helping companies implementing those strategies for the cost control. Okay, Saman, this one looks for you. Kumar is asking, how will XCCube policies be defined and can we use XCCube policies separately? Over to you, Saman.
Great question, Kumar. So Shuja, the best way to answer this question is XCC policies are built on top of Cloud Custodian. So then there will be no separate installation for XCC policies. They are created by performing attribution on Cloud Custodian policies metadata. XCC policies are there to further elevate the functionalities of Cloud Custodian.
Thank you, Saman, for such a detailed answer. Okay, let me pick one last question. I have already shortlisted. Yeah, Michael is asking, when you say attributing cloud costs, why it's important, and how should a company incorporate it? Great question, Michael. Saman, would you love to answer this?
Yeah, sure, Shuja. It's necessary to understand the value attribution adds here. It helps us understand and identify which business unit, which services, or which part of the application is costing us. This will help us in making the informed decision of return on investment, ultimately resulting in better control over the cloud cost.
I totally agree with this, Saman, but I would like to add that attribution can only be achieved if we are able to implement right tagging policies, and also making sure that these policies are continuously being audited and flagged whenever there is a breach in the policy. In the end, I would like to thank you all for joining us today in this webinar. Saman, I really appreciate your participation and engagement, and we hope you found the information and insight shared in this webinar very helpful. And if you have any further question or comment, please don't hesitate to reach out. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.